now that we've got the testimony of Dana Jill Simpson, which by any standard appears to be a smoking gun, she says she overheard a conversation where Karl Rove told Bill Canary to go after you and basically on unfounded charges, and then his wife winds up indicting you and prosecuting you. So what do you expect to be the next step? Now, if I'm looking at that case, I would imagine that the Justice Department normally would say, wait a minute, now we got to take a real serious look at to see if there was a criminal issue here in regards to Karl Rove.
Well, one would think that both Congress would exercise its constitutional responsibilities and would dig fast and furiously for the truth. They're digging, and there's some heroes on the Judiciary Committee, and I want to say John Conyers has stood fast and has spoken his mind about this thing, and Robert Wexler and Congresswoman from Florida, Sanchez, and for Linda Sanchez from New Mexico, and others have spoken up on it. But there are. This is not just my case. There are other examples that have formed a pattern that proves that the Department of Justice was used for political purposes to win elections. You had to pass a litmus test to be hired, and if you didn't follow the political desires of this administration, those U.S. attorneys were fired. In my case, my U.S. attorney was not fired because she did exactly what the Judge Dana Jill Simpson said Karl Rove wanted to happen, which was that they weren't to worry about Don Siegelman, that the Department of Justice was going to destroy him and take care of him, and they didn't need to worry about me coming back and running for governor again.
Governor Siegelman, let me ask about that Judiciary Committee, because the Democrats have come out and asked for investigations. They subpoenaed Karl Rove. He didn't show up. But when he didn't show up, Republicans on the committee defended Karl Rove. And Chris Cannon of Utah, for example, said, oh, he's on vacation. He can't be expected to show up for a congressional subpoena. When these Republicans cover for Karl Rove, do you think that they, by association, become almost as guilty as Rove, full well knowing, with all the other Republican U.S. attorneys who have already said that your case should have been dismissed? Do they all have a taint now as to being on the wrong side of this case?
Well, let me point out that it was a Republican United States Attorney General, former United States Attorney General, Richard Thornburgh, who said that this whole thing smelled like politics. And we've had former Republican attorneys general, state attorneys general, like Grant Woods from Arizona, who has stood up and said, with regard to my case, he said, look, they just couldn't beat him fair and square, so they targeted him to take him out of political office. There are some Republicans who are standing up and saying, this has got to be stopped, not because it's a partisan issue, because it's just.
But Governor Siegelman,
the difference between right and wrong.
I understand that perfectly. And 60 Minutes did a great job of covering that, and they had a lot of those Republican attorney generals on there talking about how they should dismiss the case against you, and it seemed politically motivated. Now, having said that, the Republicans in Congress are going along exactly with what the Bush administration and Karl Rove
I did not answer your question, and the answer to your question is, I think the Republicans need to be very careful how close they defend Karl Rove, or if they keep him close to their campaigns. I think John McCain would be wise to step away from Karl Rove. It's been reported many times that he is an unofficial advisor. Karl Rove, if he has been bad for America, he is going to be a disaster for the Republicans in November. And if they had any sense at all, they would be throwing him under the bus, because this thing is going to blow wide open at some point, and it is going to make Watergate look like child's play.
Wow. So, Governor Siegelman, I got a couple of quick follow-ups for you. Do you think Newsweek should continue to employ Karl Rove, given the information that's already come out about this case?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't think that. I would expect that Fox would continue to do that, but this guy is going to sink the ship, because he is You know, he was thumbing his nose, spitting in the face of Congress, disobeying a subpoena. The American people are becoming outraged by this.
Governor
Because
Siegelman,
they know that there is a double standard in this country for those people with power and those people without. If you are an unemployed steel worker or a waitress or a taxi cab driver and you disobeyed and didn't show up because you'd been subpoenaed, your butt would be in jail. And Congress is showing Karl Rove a double standard in this country, and the American people are tired of it.